I want to begin with a simple truth. The future workforce of African businesses is already here. The future customer base of African companies is already here. And that future is young. If we get youth right, African businesses will thrive for generations. If we get it wrong, no amount of capital, policy reform, or trade agreements will save us. I speak to you today not as a theorist, but as a builder. I started my business journey in my early 20s with 1,000 pounds sterling in my personal savings. No inherited balance sheet, no institutional backing, just belief, discipline, and a willingness to learn very fast. I also learned very early that nothing comes easy. There were no shortcuts and no overnight success. Every milestone came through long hours, difficult decisions, failure, resilience, and an uncompromising work ethic. Like many young Africans, I was underestimated. But I was also hungry, curious, and prepared to take responsibility far earlier than the system expected of me. Today, that journey has grown into what is now the largest microfinance institution on the continent of Africa. Operating in 8 African countries and lending to more than 20,000 small businesses every single week. Across this journey, our businesses now employ over 30,000 young people across Africa. Many of them building their first real careers inside African institutions. That experience has shaped one conviction I hold deeply. Investing in youth is not social responsibility. It is the most strategic investment a business can make for a long-time survival and growth. Africa does not have a talent shortage. Africa has a talent pipeline problem. The education to employment system, as it currently stands, is broken. Under the African Continental Free Trade Area, our economies now demand skills beyond certificates. We need digital literacy, cross-cultural competence, logistics and supply chain expertise, and export compliance skills. Businesses can no longer afford to sit on the sidelines of education reform. And so I propose a new covenant between industry and Africa's youth. And as you learn, this means structured apprenticeship, internships, and management trainee programs with direct path and into real roles. It also means industry co-designing curriculum with universities and TVET institutions, so learning aligns with real commercial outcomes. This is not a future ambition for me. Through RNAQ Holdings, I've already invested over $100 million in angel and early stage investment across 7 African markets. Most recently, I announced a $30 million scale-up fund to help African businesses expand across borders and scale across the continent. Africa does not lack ideas. Africa lacks growth capital and structured pathway to scale. Capital matters, but capital without discipline fails. Talent matters, but talent without hard work stalls. What scales businesses and people is consistent effort when no one is watching. That is why we are investing not just in youth-led innovation, but in youth-driven execution at scale. Let me end where I began. I started very young. I started very small, but I did not build alone. Africa's greatest asset is its youth. The question before us is simple. Will we treat youth as a risk to be managed or as partners in building Africa's economic future? History will judge our answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rich.
Or to be mere passengers on this journey? Are we equipping them enough to be the architects, the engineers, and the drivers, or to be just spectators? Africa today stands at a defining moment in its history. More than 60% of our population is under the age of 25. This is not merely a demographic statistic. It is a statement of potential. It is energy, creativity, resilience, and ambition on an unprecedented scale. And with these numbers are real lives that must be looked into and protected. The AFTA is a very important economic integration project that promises scale, opportunity, and shared prosperity. But let me be clear, the AfCFTA will not succeed on tariffs, protocols, or institutions. It will succeed only if Africa's young people are empowered to lead the charge through deliberate skills education and innovation. This is precisely why this youth prosperity dialogue is necessary and the central pillar of Africa's prosperity agenda. In Ghana, we have taken deliberate steps to place youth at the heart of national development through the establishment of the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment. Our mandate is clear: to move youth policies beyond short-term interventions and towards sustainable systems that support skills, enterprise, leadership, and economic inclusion. Our work is anchored on 5 pivotal pillars, which I believe are essential for an integrated Africa. The 5 pillars include health and well-being, training and skills development, economic empowerment, civic engagement, and community participation, and most importantly, their personal development and leadership. We recognize the importance of youth empowerment. When young people thrive, productivity rises, innovation accelerates, and societies grow more resilient. That is why Ghana has invested in concrete, scalable initiatives. Through the Jumera program, government is supporting young entrepreneurs with business training, productive equipment, mentorship, and market access, targeting the creation and growth of thousands of youth-led businesses. And just outside, we have the National Entrepreneurship Innovation Program, a stand to exhibit what we are doing with the Jumera program. Through the National Apprenticeship Program, we are expanding access to technical and vocational skills for young people in both urban and rural communities, ensuring that skills development is aligned with real economic demand. And the apprenticeship program too has a stand outside the exhibition stands, and so you can see what they are doing when you go out. We have also embraced digital transformation as an enabler of opportunity. The National Youth Tracker platform and the Youth Explorer app are helping young people access information on jobs, training, entrepreneurship support, scholarships, and apprenticeship through a single digital interface while strengthening evidence-based policy making. Across our agencies, we are reinforcing pathways from education to work and enterprise. The Youth Employment Agency is providing structured work experience and has introduced international work exposure programs to enhance skills and global competitiveness. The National Service Authority strengthening post-service transition into employment and entrepreneurship. The National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program is nurturing startups and innovators in priority sectors such as agribusiness, manufacturing, digital services, and the creative economy. But whilst national action is essential, it is not sufficient. Our national efforts, however, are merely a single thread in the vast tapestry we must weave together as a continent. Africa's single market demands continental thinking and cross-border collaboration. Young Africans must see the AfCFTA not as abstract agreement, but as a lived opportunity. An opportunity to scale businesses beyond national borders, an opportunity to collaborate across cultures and markets, an opportunity to turn ideas into enterprise that serve 1.5 billion people. The data is clear and compelling. Africa's population is projected to reach 2.5 billion by 2050, and the majority will be under 25. According to the African Development Bank, each year, 12 million youth enter the job market, whilst only 3 million have access to formal jobs. And the sad aspect is that even these jobs with AI may become obsolete in the near future. This is not a crisis. It is our continent's most pressing investment opportunity. Our collective prosperity depends on converting this demographic surge into a productive, innovative, and integrated generation. Last year at the UN, I made a statement and I said, in the next 10 years, the world will be looking to Africa for labor. But the question I put is, would Africa be ready? I know Ghana will be ready. But whether Africa will be ready, because Ghana alone being ready will not be enough to support Africa. I therefore strongly recommend the adoption of the AfCFTA Youth Acceleration Framework, focused on 3 priority areas: the mutual recognition of vocational and digital skills through an AfCFTA skills passport to promote labor mobility, the establishment of a Pan-African youth venture financing facility, capitalized by continental financial institutions to support scalable youth-led enterprise, and the integration of a mandatory youth impact assessment across all AfCFTA protocols to ensure youth perspectives are systematically embedded in Africa's trade and integration agenda. And I believe strongly that this is the only way that we'll be able to break these barriers, because we are dealing with a population that is big and is the majority, and so their views, their opinions matter and must be brought on board. Distinguished colleagues, the integrated Africa we dream of will be built by the young woman coding a seamless payment platform in Lagos, the young man managing a climate-smart export hub in Tamale, and the graduate launching a telehealth service from Johannesburg that serves the entire region. This is why today's focus on innovate, collaborate, trade is so timely. Innovation, collaboration, and trade are central to unlocking youth-led growth in Africa. Whilst young Africans are already driving solutions across key sectors, persistent barriers such as limited finance, infrastructural gaps, and regulatory fragmentations must be addressed, strengthening cross-border collaboration through networks, value chains, and partnership will amplify impact whilst equipping youth-led enterprises to effectively participate in AfCFTA trade. This dialogue has set itself ambitious but necessary objectives to provide a high-level platform for engagement, to spotlight youth-led innovations, to foster mentorship and partnership, and to develop a Youth Action Compact. The Youth Action Compact is critical. It must be practical. A lot of the times, it is a lot of big English, but not realistic. But this must be practical, actionable, and bold. It must speak to access to funds, to finance, skills development, digital inclusion, and policy coherence. And it must be owned not just by governments, but by the private sector, development partners, and the youth themselves. So they must become key architects and engineers of whatever policies that we craft. Let me assure you, Ghana stands ready to champion the outcome of this dialogue. We are committed to working with the AfCFTA Secretariat, the African Prosperity Network, and our continental partners to translate ideas into implementation. To the young people in this room and across Africa, I say this: the future of Africa's single market is not waiting for you. It depends on you. Your ideas, your enterprise, your courage to innovate and collaborate will define whether Africa competes or become mere consumers. To policymakers and business leaders, I say, invest in youth, not as beneficiaries, but as partners. Create space for them at decision-making tables. De-risk their enterprises. Trust their capacities to lead. If we get this right, Africa's youth will not only drive the AfCFTA, they will redefine it. Africa's place in the global economy. They will redefine Africa's place in the global economy. Let this youth prosperity dialogue mark a turning point, a moment where ambition meets action, where dialogue leads to delivery, and where Africa's youth take their rightful place at the center of our shared prosperity. I wish you a fruitful deliberation and look forward to the presentation of the Youth Action Compact. Thank you, and may God bless us all. May Africa continue.
All of you know that I don't want to speak about him again. I don't want to mention his name again. The elections are over. We are one people. The interests of God have been established. So I'm a prophet of God. I pray, and there are weapons that are available to us. And that is one of the weapons that I use. And many more that we pray for the nation, all the major actors of the nation. And the Lord do all of you well. Okay, may you be consistent with life. May you take care of your health and have a dream, have a purpose, and pursue it. Okay. So I want to give you some money. Then can I go?